the 100-year-old goddess Ristar got a task to save an Isekai world. This time it was different in its rank world. She chose her hero, Seiya, and summoned him to her realm. Ristar was shocked. Seiya was extremely cautious and spent the first 10 days just training to prepare. Once he finally felt ready, Ristar opened the portal to another world. She bought him his equipment, and they went out to fight some slimes. Seiya, being extremely cautious, uses both his attacks about 50 times just to kill one slime. Just when it seemed simple, Chaos Machina, one of the Demon Lord's main warriors, showed up. Seiya knew he can't win, and so they both ran away. Seiya continued his training arc in the Divine Realm, but Ristar used her magical ball to spy on Chaos Machina. She saw that Chaos Machina was taking villagers hostage. One would be unalived in Roblox every 10 minutes. Finally, Seiya agreed to return. They attacked Chaos Machina, but she transformed from a hot figure into a flying demon bull. Ristar then revealed that Seiya's stats were insanely high all along, and he had been hiding them. Seiya easily defeated the demon and used his new skill, Inferno, to burn what was left of her. Unfortunately, the entire village got burned down in the process, and they were kicked out. Seiya, unfazed, insisted on going back to the Divine Realm for more training. After a few days of training, Seiya reached max level. Ristar decided to take him to Chercheris, an extreme training god, but after just 3 days, Chercheris was completely depressed, as Seiya had already surpassed him over 100 times. Ristar was then summoned by Ishtar, a kind old goddess, who told her to take Seiya and save a random town in another world. When they arrived, they discovered zombies were about to attack the village. Ristar explained that the zombies could be defeated with fire or holy water. They visited the church and were met by 2 dragon kids, a nun, and a priest. Seiya immediately spilled holy water on the priest, revealing him to be a zombie, and then unleashed 100 Inferno skills to make sure he was truly dead. Just to be safe, he spilled holy water on everyone else as well. Using Scan, Ristar and Seiya realized the 2 dragon kids, who were supposed to help them, were only average human level. Seiya didn't even bother hiding it. He openly declared that he didn't need them. Seiya flies off to defeat the undead army, and Ristar tries to follow by growing wings, but Seiya just grabs her hand and they soar together. He obliterates the undead with a single meteor strike. 2 days later, Ristar and the pink dragon girl catch up and discover Seiya stole Ristar's hairs to make weapons. Suddenly, a woman brings him a mirror through the mirror. One of the Demon Lord's top soldiers, who kidnapped Mushroom Boy, shows up. Seiya cuts the demon's hand through the mirror and they return to the Divine Realm. Facing Ishtar, Seiya tells her to stop being a bitch and open the portal to Mushroom Boy. The demon shows off his 100,000 level defense ghost, explaining how to defeat himself. Seiya freezes it, then casually reveals his bracelet collection, all crafted from Ristar's hairs, and one taps the ghost. Seiya throws Mushroom Boy at Chercheris to train him, Ilulu to a random fire goddess, and heads off to train with the god of war Adenella. After 3 days, Mushroom Boy has leveled up massively. Ilulu is still stuck, and the fire goddess admits to Ristar that Ilulu is untalented. Meanwhile, Adenella falls in love with Seiya, but when he rejects her, she goes berserk and starts wrecking the Divine Realm. Seiya leaves anyway, and they stumble into a random cave in the land of dwarfs. Inside, they find a magic circle that teleports them straight to the Dragon Village, home of Mushroom Boy and the magic pink girl. The Dragon Queen tells the pink girl that she must die and be transformed into a sword. She accepts her fate, and everyone is invited to a feast where the execution will happen. Seiya crashes it, kills the guards, but Ristar and Mushroom Boy are paralyzed from the vine they drank earlier, leaving Seiya alone. He kills the Dragon Woman and turns her into the sword meant to defeat the Demon Lord. As they leave the Dragon Village, Mushroom Boy and the Pink Girl suddenly get together, which is kind of weird since they felt like siblings and their age gap seems questionable. On the way out, Seiya admits to Ristar that the sword is fake, actually made from 3 platinum swords and 100 of her hairs. Ristar has a small breakdown about him stealing her hair while she slept, but lets it go. Right as they reach the cave entrance, an entire army appears. The captain tells them the fortress is under attack by one of the Demon Lord's top commanders, a flying insect humanoid. Seiya takes the team straight to the battlefield, watches soldiers die in front of them, then immediately leaves. They meet Rosaria, a strong knight, who's furious when she realizes Seiya let her men die. Seiya calmly explains they would have lost anyway. Rosaria stays mad. And if you don't want me to get mad, you should like and subscribe. Seiya goes back to the Divine Realm to train with the Archer Goddess, while Ristar takes the kids to her friend, who says she can unseal their hidden powers. They agree. Ristar then visits Adenella, who's still unhinged because Seiya rejected her. Ristar warns Seiya to avoid Adenella only to realize Adenella is standing right behind her. Adenella tries to unalive Seiya in Roblox, but Seiya just pets her head, and she instantly calms down. The next day, Ristar visits her red-haired friend again. Pink Girl shows her time manipulation, and Mushroom Boy reveals his dragon hand. The red-haired goddess then finds out Seiya is training with the Archer Goddess, and casually admits the Archer Goddess is way too obsessed with intimacy and plans to force a child-making ritual with Seiya. And by child-making ritual, I don't actually mean a ritual, and she doesn't want to get pregnant. She just wants to suck life from Seiya in an 18+ way. And if you want to get your life sucked in an 18+ way, you should like and subscribe. They rush over and find the Archer Goddess hanging from a tree, begging Seiya for the ritual. Seiya immediately shoots her in the head, no hesitation, and they return to the world they're supposed to save. There, they learn Rosaria attacked the fly demons alone. They go to help, but the insect humanoid demon knight takes Rosaria hostage. It doesn't matter, Seiya easily defeats him, then uses Hell's Fire to wipe out every remaining fly demon just to be safe. Before leaving, Rosaria tells them about the Superman armor. They return to the earlier city, only to find it completely destroyed. The only survivor is a shop owner, who reveals he summoned a giant adamantium turtle to destroy the armor. The shop owner ends his life in Roblox, summoning a Grim Reaper. Seiya and his team of useless kids escape to the Divine Realm, but the Reaper breaks through dimensions and starts chasing them anyway. They lure it to Valkyrie, who absolutely destroys it, then agrees to train Seiya. After 3 days of training, Ristar walks in on some very questionable training, then panics and reveals she made a Seiya doll out of her own hair. Training ends. They immediately return to the world, where the Demon Lord's army general appears. Seiya doesn't even get a turn. The War Master one-shots him, then randomly turns into a baby. They're taken to a castle, where Rosalia explains that her father doesn't have much time left once he returns to normal. Suddenly, news arrives that monsters are attacking again, so Seiya leaves the War Master behind and goes alone. While Seiya is gone, the War Master shows Ristar the church he built and casually reveals that he's actually a servant of the Demon Lord. He explains that gods and heroes can't normally die because their souls exist outside space and time, but the Demon Lord has a weapon that can kill them. He nearly kills Ristar, but Seiya shows up like Spider-Man, jumping in at the last second. A brutally difficult fight follows, but Seiya eventually defeats the old man. 3 days later, it's announced to the kingdom that the king died of old age, and Rosalia becomes the new queen. With everything finally calm, Seiya allows his crew to rest for once. After spending the whole day gambling and shopping, the gang returns to their room, only to realize Seiya is gone. They search the entire city, but he's nowhere to be found. Eventually, they run into Ristar's red-haired friend, who takes them to Ishtar. Ishtar reveals the truth about 100 years ago. Back then, Seiya was first summoned by the red-haired goddess. He was reckless, unprepared, and rushed into fights nonstop. Somehow, they managed to defeat the Demon Lord, but after dying, the Demon Lord revived by consuming Seiya's friend Colt, then ate the red-haired goddess, and later the support princess of that world. Seiya was eventually defeated as well. That support princess turns out to be Ristar. Because she lived a pure life, she was reborn as a goddess, but without her memories. Ishtar explains that Seiya doesn't remember that world, but the trauma of failing it is the reason he became obsessively cautious. Realizing how much she cares about him, Ristar accepts her feelings for Seiya and decides she will fight alongside him. together with the Dragon Kids to face the Demon Lord. As Ristar, Mushroom Boy, and the pink-haired magical girl reach Seiya, the battle is already at its climax. Seiya uses the Gate of Valhalla to trap the Demon Lord before he can die. Ristar, breaking divine rules, releases her full power and saves Seiya's life. But the Demon Lord escapes. With no hesitation, Seiya activates his Ultra Pro Supermax Mega Gate of Valhalla and traps the Demon Lord again. This time for good, Ristar can't save him anymore. In his final moments, Seiya thanks Mushroom Boy and the pink-haired girl for everything. He then finally recognizes Ristar as the girl he failed to save in the previous world. And then Seiya dies. Mushroom Boy and the pink-haired girl are placed under Rosaria's leadership, and she finally admits that Seiya truly was a hero. Ristar says her final goodbye to them. Sometime later, broken and depressed, Ristar is summoned by Ishtar, who tells her she must face punishment. Her punishment is to save an SS rank world without using her powers. Failure means death. However, Ishtar gives her a gift. Because Seiya broke the Demon Lord's chains, his soul returned to his original world. Ishtar hands Ristar a summoning scroll with Seiya's name on it. And that's where the anime ends. This anime isn't a masterpiece, but it's surprisingly emotional and genuinely funny. The animation is mostly okay except the fight scenes, which honestly look like One Punch Man Season 3. Still, the humor lands, the emotional moments hit harder than expected, and the ending actually sticks with you. Overall, it deserves at least 7 out of 10. Sadly, the anime came out in 2019, and there have been no announcements for Season 2. And lastly, I want to tell you that I will be giving this channel to my friend, but I will continue editing the videos. If you like the video and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and like, and you can watch the video on your screen. Thank you, and see you next time.